Okay, so I don't know if this has to school or anything, but yeah, so today I'm going to be reading a bit of Diary of a Wimpy Kid, The Deep End. I love my family and all, but I don't need to spend 24 hours a day with them. 7 days a week, and that's exactly the way it's been around here lately. It's not just me who's getting tired of this either. We're all going a little nuts. And if things don't change soon, I think we're gonna go off the deep end. Mum says we've been cooped up for too long and we just need a holiday. But what we really need is a holiday from each other. That's not going to happen anytime soon. Though, because that's not going to happen anytime soon though, because we don't have any money, and the reason we don't is kind of a long story. Go check out the Wrecking Ball book if you want to know how we have no money. We've been living in Grandma's basement for 2 months. I don't know how much longer we can keep going like this. Mum says that one day we'll look back on this time and smile, but she's not one of those who has to share a futon with Roderick every night. The crazy thing is, Grandma's got plenty of room in her house, so I don't understand why our whole family has to stay in her basement. When we got here first, I called dibs on the guest room, but Grandma said it was already taken. Can I show you the pictures? I don't think Grandma's too thrilled we're living with her, because whenever her friends come over, she asks us to stay out of sight. And that's kind of inconvenient since there isn't a bathroom in the basement and her friends always stay forever. We can use the kitchen when Grandma's got guests, which means we can't eat dinner until after they're gone. But last night, I guess Roderick got sick of waiting, so he heated up his leftover pizza in Grandma's dryer. There's no TV in Grandma's basement, so the only thing we've got to entertain ourselves with is each other. And believe me, it's not enough. Mum says being bored is good because it makes you use your imagination. But whenever I try, I always end up imagining the exact same thing. Something that makes the situation a lot harder is that Dad is working from home this summer, which means he's always around. And whenever Dad has a meeting, the rest of us have to pretend we're not there. But that's not easy to do, especially when you've got a 3-year-old in the house. Most of the time, I tried to keep myself busy. Grandma's got stacks of puzzles down in the basement. I've done a few of them by myself, but Mum always lets Manny put in the final pieces to make them feel important. If you ask me, I don't think Mum's doing Manny any favours by babysitting him. And it's got a lot worse since starting living in Grandma's. Sometimes after dinner we'll play a board game as a family, but Manny can't handle complicated rules, so we always end up playing a game that doesn't require any skills. We have to go to bed before it's even dark outside. Before we're all on Manny's schedule, because we're all on Manny's schedule. These days, Manny's favourite bedtime stories is a Noah's Ark picture book. It's about this guy who hears it's going to rain for a very long time, so he builds a giant boat to ride out the storm with a bunch of animals. The illustrations in Manny's book are all cartoony, and they make it look like a flood that wiped out half the earth was kind of fun. But I guess if you're drawing more realistically, parents wouldn't buy it for preschools. I've got some questions about the Noah's Ark story, though. For starters, I want to know why Noah let venomous creatures like snakes and scorpions on board. Because if it was me, I wouldn't have used the opportunity to leave a few of those guys behind. And then I would have used the extra space for some good animals like puppies and hedgehogs and someone's wearing a bit pygmy hippopotamuses. Luckily, Noah didn't have to make room on board for whales and fish, because they wouldn't have taken up a ton of space, and they probably didn't even know the flood was happening to begin with. But it doesn't make a lot of sense that Noah lets birds on the ark, since they could have just flown. And I bet he regretted the decision right away. I'm just going to do it till 11 minutes. You can only hear about the animals that survived the flood, but sometimes I wonder if there were some cool animals that didn't make it on the boat. The way the story goes, after it rained for 40 days and 40 nights, it took 150 days for the flood water to go down. That means Noah was stuck on the boat with a bunch of animals, plus his wife and 3 sons. And whenever I feel sorry for myself living in Grandma's basement with my family, I think about Noah, and it makes me feel a little better. Mum keeps saying she's glad we're all together right now, because she feels like time has slowed down. I noticed that but for me it's not a good thing. Walrus. Something that makes this summer feel really long is that I can't go to my friend Rowley's house, and that's because he's off on some big Europe holiday with his family. When Rowley first told me about his family's plans, I tried to see if his parents might let me tag along, but I guess Mr. and Mrs. Jefferson aren't as sharp as I thought they were, because they never picked up on any of my hints. I'll bet your trip would be more fun if you had a friend along. Wink, wink. Yep, wonder who might like to come. So now Rowley's probably off having the time of his life while I'm doing 500-piece puzzles in my grandma's basement. I think Mum feels bad that we can't afford to do something special this summer. So she's been trying to make it up for it. She says we can go anywhere we want if we just use our imaginations. But to be honest, that's not really doing it for me anymore. I think Mum's finally had enough too, because last night she called a family meeting after dinner to brainstorm ideas for holidays that we can't afford. But the problem is, everyone's got their own ideas of a good time. Dad wants to drive around and visit a bunch of Civil War battlefields. and take part in a reenactment. But nobody else was crazy about putting on wool underwear in the middle of August. Mine wants to go to the animal safari, which used to visit a lot when I was little, but the animals in the place seem so sad, especially the donkey they painted to look like a zebra. Mum said that we could save money by staying close to home and visiting places in our own community. But I've gone to enough school field trips to I know this town inside and out. Wastewater treatment facility. The only one who agreed on what we should do were me and Roderick. We both voted to go to the Thrills and Spills amusement park, which would be cheap since Grandma got a half-price coupon in the mail. Thrills and Spills, half-price ticket. Plus, they just opened a new roller coaster called Track Jump that's supposed to be totally insane. Mum said the rides at Thrills and Spills are too scary for Manny, so she suggested we go to Storybook Village, which has rides for all ages but me and Roderick. Me and Roderick have had enough of this Little Miss Muffin mild ride for one lifetime. Since the family couldn't settle on anything, I suggested we go on our own holidays and do a slideshow of everyone's trips when we get back. I'm just going to read this last page and I'll be done. Mum said the whole point of being on a family holiday is to do things together. She says that one day us kids are going to go our separate ways and time is running out to make happy memories as a family. But believe me, for this family to make happy memories together, it's gonna need a miracle. So there it is, little bits of Deep End. Hope you enjoyed.